السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. مرحبا بكم، أهلا وسهلا. عندنا اليوم الدرس الخامس عشر. So we're now on lesson 15 and I'm going to read the dialogue as normal inshallah and then go through the points of this lesson inshallah. So from here, أين تذهب يا أبا بكر؟ أذهب إلى المدير. لا تخرج من الفصل الآن، اذهب إليه بعد الدرس. يا أستاذ أنا طالب جديد، أين أجلس؟ أجلس هنا أمامك؟ لا تجلس هنا، هذا مقعد هشام وهو غائب اليوم، اجلس هناك خلف حامد. أآخذ هذه الدفاتر يا أستاذ؟ لا تأخذها، ينظر في دفتر. يا عبد الرحيم لا تكتب الأجوبة بالقلم الأحمر، المدرس هو الذي يكتب بالقلم الأحمر. انظر إلى هذه المجلة يا أستاذ، انظر إلى هذه المجلة يا أستاذ، ما أجملها. لا تقرأ المجلات في الفصل يا فيصل. ما أقرأ هذه المجلة الآن، إنما أنظر إلى الصور التي فيها. أفتح الباب يا أستاذ، يكاد الجرس يرن. لا تفتح الباب الآن. جيد. So there's a number of things we're going to be learning in this dialogue. I kind of emphasize them, repeating them a few times whilst reading. From them, we're learning now the prohibition. Before we learn how to say the command verb, like ijlis, do this, go and sit down, basically. But now we are talking about how to say don't do such and such. Okay, and the pattern in general is la taf'al, as we'll see shortly. So within those things that we covered today, is here la takhruj. Okay. And then we'll just show a comparison. Idhab, that's the actual command, affirmative command that we learned previously. Okay. So la tajlis. This is just examples. I'm going to do all of them. I'm going to highlight a few of them. Then we have ma ajmala, this sentence here. Ma ajmalaha. We'll discuss these things in this lesson today, inshallah ta'ala. So, if we look at the exercises, number 1, صحح ما يلي, correct what follows. That should be known now. But here I just want to look at number 2, اقرأ ما يلي, read what follows. And he says تذهب لا تذهب, تكتب لا تكتب, تشرب لا تشرب. So here we have what is called لا الناهية. لا الناهية من النهى ينهى, which is to prohibit, the la of prohibition. This is how we make the negative command, I don't do something. And it's on the pattern of la taf'al. La taf'al. We put sukoon on the last letter of the verb. And you should maybe realize now, we're going to come and see it in this book anyway. If you basically, there are different signs for different types of words. I.e., for example, the sound masculine plural doesn't take dhamma. So we say it takes waw instead to show dhamma. For this verb, taf'al, the sign of sukoon is sukoon. But if I have the verb taf'aluna, so let me just rub that out quickly. Taf'aluna, okay, for antum, and I want to say, you guys don't do, I will say la taf'alu. You're going to see this anyway, but I just want to just highlight this. So when you see it, it's not the first time you hear it. La taf'alu. The sign of sukoon is deleting the noon. We get rid of that noon. And we put this alif here. And this is called alif al-mufarakha, the alif of difference that lets us know that this is a plural. And that only comes with the plural verbs of the ending una. Okay? So here we have a number of examples from number 1. We have a number of examples. يا موسى أنت مريض فلا تخرج من البيت ولا تذهب إلى المدرسة ولا تلعب في الشارع. I'm just emphasizing it while I'm reading it also, just so you can hear that rule in usage. So what I want you to do, and the exercise is asking you to do, read all of these sentences that are using the command verb. And if you don't know the meaning of these verbs, make sure you learn them, inshallah. Something that will also help you for your own benefit is to translate them into English. If you translate them into English, you can send me a picture via my number or via the Wix app. Send me a picture of what you've done, and I will give you some corrections if necessary on your translations, inshallah. As for all the other exercises, you check your answers via the answer book on the website. But anything that you want to translate and ask me if it's correct, then just send me a picture, either by WhatsApp, as my number is there for the Arabic school. The WhatsApp number is on the contact page, or you can do it via the Wix app, inshallah. So we'll go on to the next page and check out the exercises there. So from here, after mentioning the la and nahiya, which is the prohibition, you have a number of verbs here. Make sure you know what they mean. But now you need to make that form with these verbs of the prohibition similar to what you have just read. Similar to what you have just read. Okay? Then it has ta'ammal ma yali, ponder of what follows. And this is the summary of the conjugation of the prohibition based on anta, anti, antum, antunna. Okay? So if we want to write it in another way, just to show the patterns. So for example, for anta, I'm going to do it based on taf'al, okay? The letters that we measure verbs with. So it'll be taf'al. Or let me just do the full sentence actually. Instead of just taf'al, I'm going to say la taf'al, okay? That's anta versus la taf'alu, okay? Antum, la taf'ali. Originally, remember, taf'alina for anti, but now we say la taf'ali, we delete the noon, okay? And antunna, it doesn't ever change. This noon of tadhhabna is fixed. It always has to be there. So we say la taf'alna. The only thing that is to come is the jewel. And because we haven't studied the jewel yet for verbs, we're going to study that towards the end of the book. That's why it hasn't been mentioned as of yet. So when I'm looking at this, I say la taf'al, anta la tadhhab, la taf'ali, anti la tadhhabi. Okay, so tadhhabu, la tadhhabu, la taf'alu. So any verb, we do exactly the same thing according to these patterns. Okay, so ya Ahmed anta, ya Maryam anti, ya ikhwan antum, ya akhawat antunna. So this is what we do to any verb. We follow the same rule or principle to form this with any verb to show the prohibition. Don't do something. Okay, just as before we learned do it, now it's saying don't do it. And this is how it is done. It's formed from the present tense verb fi'l al-mudari' by making the end of it majzoom, I take sukun. So in this exercise, you are to fill in the empty space with a suitable verb that gives the complete meaning, inshallah, applying this rule of la and nahiya, the prohibition. It says ta'ammal ma yali, ponder over what follows. So here, what is important to understand, the difference between the la and nafiya and the la and nahiya. So the la and nafiya, as we can see in this column, la and nafiya. Okay, so that says lima la ta'kulu ya akhi. And you see the verb la ta'kulu, it doesn't say la ta'kul with sukun, because this is not a prohibition. This is the negation of the actual action. So lima la ta'kulu ya akhi, why are you not eating, my brother? Ala tadhhabu ila al-mal'abi, are you not going to the playground? Okay, so this is just a negation of the actual action. It's not a prohibition of the action. That is the difference between la and nafiya and la and nahiya. La and nahiya, which is this one right here. La ta'kul, la tadhhab. So now they end in sukun, as we can see here. Okay. This is ta'ammal ma yali right here. Huwa yaktubu, huwa ya'kulu, huwa ya'khudhu. Anta taktubu, anta ta'kulu. That should say أنت تأخذ. Yeah, three verbs, sorry. أنت تكتب, أنت تأكل, أنت تأخذ. That's for هو, أنت. أنا أكتب, أنا أأكل. We don't say that though. أنا أأخذ. We don't say that. When we have two hamzas in a row, as you can see here, it becomes one long. آكل, آخذ. We merge them together. Okay? When we have two hamzas like this, the hamza that's originally from the verb أكل and أخذ. So this hamza, they're originally from the verb. When we add the verb of, the pronoun of ana to additional when it's a present tense verb, we start with a to show ana. However, this verb already starts with a. So instead of putting a like this, that's hard to say. We merge it. Then we have akhudhu or akulu like this, inshallah. Then we have in the last exercise number 7 of this page, it says تأمل الجمل الآتية. Ponder over the following sentences. Right here, تأمل الجمل الآتية. So here, فتح زكريا الباب وكاد يخرج. Now, the point that you're learning in this lesson is wakada. Okay, kada means almost. Almost. Okay, and when we use it like this: kada yaf'alu. It comes with a present tense after it. Okay. If it's feminine, kadat taf'alu. She almost. Okay. She almost. So what we conjugate is normal. Kidtu. We say also kidtu for ana. Kidtu. Kidta. Just as you conjugate any verb anyway. So Fataha Zakaria al-Bab. Zakaria opened the door. Right here we read in Fataha Zakaria al-Baba. Zakaria opened the door. وَكَادَ يَخْرُجُ. And was about to leave. So we're going to translate in the past, and was about to leave. Okay, so he did this and was about to do this. This is how we make this kind of sentence in the Arabic language. Okay, فَعَلَ هَذَا وَكَادَ يَفْعَلُ هَذَا أو ذَلك. He did this and was about to do that. Okay, so this is in the past tense. So just read over these sentences, translate them, and ponder over this usage. For example, the second one right here, it says قال عثمان للمدير. Uthman said to the head teacher, رفع يوسف يده وكاد يضربني. So Yusuf raised his hand and was about to hit me. So that is his bayan, his clarification of why he might have ضرب Yusuf, why he may have hit Yusuf, for example. So this is how he raised his case. He رفع يده وكاد. So he did this and he was about to do this. Okay, that's how we translate it. Was about to do such and such. So when we look at the next exercise as well, it's going to show us how to do this with the present tense. How to do this with the present tense is about to. Okay, so kada, it means to almost do, to almost. Okay, it's for a proximity of an action, like it's about to happen. Okay, sometimes you hear people say kidtu amut, I almost died, or I was about to die, basically. Kidtu amut, like this. Okay, so we'll see in the next page the present tense usage of kada. So as you can see here, but الساعة الآن الواحدة يكاد المدير يخرج. So يكاد here. So it's كاد يكاد. This is a hollow verb. We're going to start studying hollow verbs shortly. And hollow verbs means the verbs that in the middle there's a weak letter of fa'ala, the letter that coincides with ayn. Let me just write it out for you right now so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. If I say the pattern of a verb is fa'ala, fa'ala. Okay, the letter that coincides with ayn is the middle letter of the verb. So kada, if I look at kada, I have ka, which is fa. Ayn is alif, that's weak now, weak letter, hollow verb. And lam matches da, dal. So this is kada, so this is called a fi'lul ajwaf. Ajwaf, i.e. the jawf, the middle of the verb is weak from either alif, waw, or Yeah. Okay, so that's just a quick point to remember. Then we have, as I mentioned, the present tense. So when I said يكاد يخرج, say he's almost leaving. He's almost leaving. That's how you translate it. He's almost leaving, like this. As in, this is happening now. He's almost doing it. So he hasn't left yet. He's almost leaving. يكاد المدير يخرج. The headmaster is almost leaving. Okay, so let's read the rest of the sentences, translate them, and try to start implementing this use of the language in your usage of the Arabic language, inshallah. Then we have this point here, ta'ammal ma yali. So in general, we've learned there's a number of ways of negation to negate a sentence. We can say ma, it negates ma dhahabtu. It negates the past tense. I didn't go. We can say la. So la is used for present tense. So I say la adhabu. I'm not going. La adhabu, I'm not going. So these are general negations. Then we have laysa. Laysa is for a sentence that starts with a noun. So I say laysa. Or let me start the different way. The way they started within the book is a bit easier to explain. So Muhammadun laysa bitalibin. Remember, Muhammadun laysa bitalibin. Muhammad is not a student. Okay, so laysa is for nouns, la is for present tense verbs, ma is for past tense verbs. So here it says Ana la ashrab al-qahwa. Now that la of the present tense is used to, generally speaking, negate constant action. So if I said la ana la ashrab al-qahwa, that means I don't drink coffee. But if I said ana ma ashrab al-qahwa al-an, I'm not drinking coffee now. So here we said the la is for present tense, but here we've used ma. When I use ma for a present tense, negation, that means I'm not doing it right now. And we have to put al-an at the end. We have to say al-an at the end. So ana ma ashrab al-qahwa al-ana. I'm not drinking coffee now. So that's also, as it mentions ma, right here it mentions ma تخلص المضارع للحال. So ما تخلص المضارع للحال. This shows that this is to negate the present tense verb in its current state. It's not happening right now. Okay, this is negation. I'm not doing this right now. Okay, so I do drink coffee, but right now I'm not drinking coffee. أنا ما أشرب القهوة الآن. I'm not drinking coffee now. يعني بل أشرب الشاي. Rather, I'm drinking shai, tea. Okay, or asir, juice. Okay, so this is the importance of knowing the differences between the negations, how to use them correctly. When I say la, that in general means this is something I don't do. And la adhabu ila al-madrasa, I don't go to school, for example. And ma adhabu ila al-madrasati al-an, I'm not going to school now. And adhabu ila al-tabib, I'm going to the doctor. You see, so this is the usage of the different ways of negation. Okay, another important language feature that we actually learn in this lesson is ma yusamma, is what is referred to as fi'lu ta'ajjub. Fi'lu ta'ajjub, which means the verb of amazement. As we can see in the last exercise, this is fi'lu ta'ajjub. It says ta'ammal ma yali. Ta'ammal ma yali. Ponder over what follows. What is here? It says hamidun tawilun. Hamidun tawilun. Ma atwala hamidan. So hamidun tawilun means Hamid is tall. When I use the fi'l ta'ajjub, the pattern is, this is the pattern of fi'l ta'ajjub. The pattern is ma af'ala. Ma af'ala. Plus what is considered the maf'ulun bihi. So ma af'ala. Everything ends in fatha. Ma af'ala. Okay. So here it says Hamidun tawilun. Ma atwala hamidan. Look how tall Hamid is. Basically, that's how you're going to translate it. هذه السيارة جميلة. This car is beautiful. ما أجمل هذه السيارة. Look how beautiful this car is. This is the usage of فعل التعجب. And here it says هو طويل ما أطوله. You can add the pronoun directly to it. هي صغيرة. She is small. ما أصغرها. Look how small she is or how young she is. Like this, okay? So this is the usage of the فعل التعجب. It's used to show that you're actually amazed with something or you're disgusted with something. Okay, so here it says اكتب الجملة الآتية مستعملا فعل التعجب. Write the following sentences that are underlined using this form فعل التعجب ما أفعل. So if I looked at the first one and said انظر إلى هؤلاء الطلاب الجدد. Look at these new students. هم كثير. You're going to say, for example, we do the first one for you. You're going to say ما أكثرهم, like this. ما أكثرهم. Okay, look how many they are, like this. So you're going to follow that same pattern for number 2, 3, 4. And then you have your kalimat al-jadida, your new words to make sure you know and are up to date with your vocab, inshallah ta'ala. Jazakumullahu khairan, and I will see you next lesson where we'll continue to benefit and learn more of this blessed Arabic language. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.